Tyler Bennett ruled Jefferson High like a king until the day he ripped Jasmine Washington's shirt at her locker. In exactly 90 seconds, the shy transfer student would transform his reign of terror into a humiliating defeat that left him begging on the cafeteria floor. What happened next sent shockwaves through Atlanta's most prestigious high school, proving that sometimes the quietest students hide the deadliest skills. Before I tell you how a 17-year-old girl brought down the untouchable son of Georgia's biggest real estate developer, hit that subscribe button because this story will change how you see every quiet kid in your school. Jefferson High School sat like a fortress of privilege in Buckhead, Atlanta's wealthiest neighborhood. Its marble columns and manicured lawns screamed old money, while its parking lot filled with BMWs and Range Rovers whispered new wealth. This was where Georgia's elite sent their children, expecting them to emerge as future CEOs, surgeons, and senators, but on this humid September morning, it would become the stage for a confrontation that would shatter every expectation about power. Privilege. And who really deserved respect. Jasmine Washington didn't belong here. At least, that's what everyone thought when she first walked through those imposing doors 3 weeks ago. Her second-hand uniform hung loose on her slender frame, pressed with military precision but clearly not tailored like the other girls. Her natural hair was pulled back in a simple bun. No expensive relaxers or weekly salon visits. She moved through the halls like a shadow, clutching her books against her chest. Eyes downcast, speaking only when teachers called on her. What no one knew, what Jasmine had carefully hidden since arriving, was that beneath her thrift store clothes and quiet demeanor lived 8 years of intense judo training, 6 days a week, 4 hours a day. Since she was 9 years old, her father, a former Marine and current youth center instructor, had insisted, "The world won't always be kind to a black girl," he'd said, adjusting her white gi before her first lesson, "but you'll be ready." 3 black belts now sat folded in a box under her bed, each one earned through sweat, bruise, and the kind of discipline most teenagers couldn't imagine. Tyler Bennett represented everything Jasmine's family had taught her to navigate carefully. 6'2", quarterback shoulders, and the kind of casual confidence that came from never hearing the word no. His father owned half the commercial real estate in Atlanta, and Tyler wore that fact like armor. Designer clothes, limited edition sneakers that cost more than Jasmine's family paid in monthly rent, and a smile that could charm teachers while hiding the cruelty beneath. He'd noticed Jasmine on her first day not because she stood out, but because she didn't try to. In Tyler's world, everyone wanted his attention. Girls flirted. Guys sought his approval. Teachers gave him special treatment, but this new girl? She walked past him like he was furniture. That indifference sparked something dangerous in Tyler's chest. He was used to being the sun that everyone orbited around. Jasmine's refusal to even glance his way felt like a challenge. "Check out Scholarship Girl," Tyler had said to his crew that first week, loud enough for Jasmine to hear as she passed. Marcus Cole and Ethan Hayesh's, loyal shadows since middle school, had laughed on cue. "Bet she's here on some diversity quota. My dad says they're ruining the school's reputation, letting in kids who can't even afford the uniform." Jasmine had kept walking, jaw clenched, fingernails digging crescents into her palms. She'd promised her mother she wouldn't cause trouble. They'd sacrificed everything for this opportunity. Her mom working double shifts as a nurse, her dad taking on extra security jobs. Jefferson High's academic scholarship was their ticket to something better. 1 year here, stellar grades, and Jasmine could write her ticket to any college. All she had to do was stay invisible. But Tyler Bennett had never met a target he couldn't hit. The harassment started small, deliberate shoulder checks in the hallway, knocked books, whispered comments about knowing her place. Jasmine endured it all with a patience that only fueled Tyler's escalation. By the 3rd week, he'd graduated to public humiliation. Loud jokes about her hair in the cafeteria, fake charity drives to help Jasmine afford real clothes, Instagram posts wondering why the school was going downhill. Through it all, Jasmine remained silent. She ate lunch alone in the library. She arrived early and left late to avoid the crowded hallways. She became an expert at being invisible, at shrinking herself to avoid Tyler's radar. Her grades were perfect, she made sure of that. Every essay, every test, every assignment completed with a precision that matched her judo forms. This was her battlefield, and she would win through endurance. But Tyler mistook her silence for weakness. And on that Thursday morning in late September, he decided to push until something broke. The hallway outside the AP chemistry lab was nearly empty most. Students were still in the cafeteria, enjoying the last few minutes before third period. Jasmine stood at her locker, carefully organizing her books for the afternoon classes. She'd learned to use these quiet moments to move through the school when Tyler and his crew were occupied elsewhere. She didn't hear them approaching until it was too late. Well, Tyler's voice sliced through the quiet like a blade. All alone. Scholarship? That's dangerous. Someone might think you're trying to steal something. Jasmine's hands stilled on her textbooks, but she didn't turn around. Maybe if she ignored him, he'd get bored. Maybe. A hand slammed her locker shut, missing her fingers by inches. Tyler leaned against the metal, his cologne something expensive that probably cost more than her entire outfit filling her nostrils. Marcus and Ethan flanked him, phones already out. Recording. I'm talking to you, Tyler said, his voice dropping to something more menacing. Didn't your mama teach you manners? Or was she too busy cleaning houses? Jasmine turned slowly, keeping her back to the lockers. Her heart hammered, but her breathing remained steady 4 counts in, 4 counts out, just like her sensei taught her. I need to get to class, she said quietly. Class? Tyler laughed, the sound sharp and ugly. You think you belong in app chemistry, please? We all know you're only here because the school needs to hit their diversity numbers. Tell me, how's it feel being a charity case? I earned my place here, Jasmine said, her voice barely above a whisper. My test scores? Tyler stepped closer, crowding her against the lockers. You think that matters? You think any college is going to look at you next to you, Sand? Choose some ghetto girl playing dress-up? The word hit Jasmine like a physical blow. Her hands curled into fists at her sides, muscle memory from thousands of hours of practice begging to take over. She could see it so clearly, the foot sweep that would put him on his back, the arm bar that would have him tapping out in seconds. But she forced her hands to relax. One fight, one incident, and her scholarship was gone. Everything her parents had worked for, destroyed. Nothing to say? Tyler's grin widened. That's what I thought. You know what? I'm tired of looking at you pretending you belong here. That knockoff uniform is an insult to everyone who actually earned their place. It happened so fast. Jasmine barely had time to process. Tyler's hands shot out, grabbing the collar of her shirt. The sound of ripping fabric echoed through the empty hallway as he tore downward, buttons scattering across the floor. The shirt split open, revealing the sports bra underneath. For a moment, everything froze. Marcus's phone captured Jasmine's shocked expression, the tears that sprang to her eyes as she clutched the ruined fabric to her chest. Ethan's laughter died in his throat at the look on Tyler's face, triumph, mixed with something darker. Oops, Tyler said, stepping back with mock concern. Guess you'll have to go home and get another one. Oh wait, that was probably your only shirt, wasn't it? Don't worry. I'm sure the lost and found has something that'll fit, maybe from like 10 years ago. Something shifted in Jasmine's eyes. The tears were still there, but behind them burned something Tyler had never seen before. Her stance changed subtly, weight, balanced, feet shoulder-width apart. When she spoke, her voice was different. Calm, controlled, dangerous. Apologize. Tyler blinked, then laughed. Did she just tell me to apologize? He looked at his friends, who chuckled nervously. That's hilarious. You know what? I think you need to learn your... He reached for her again. Jasmine moved like water. Her left hand swept up, deflecting his grab, while her right hand seized his wrist. Her hip turned. Her weight shifted. And suddenly Tyler Bennett, 6'2" of quarterback muscle, was airborne. The Osotogari throw was textbook perfect, and Tyler hit the ground hard enough to drive the air from his lungs. The hallway erupted. Marcus dropped his phone in shock. Ethan stumbled backward, eyes wide. A few students who'd been approaching stopped dead, watching as Tyler gasped on the floor like a beached fish. I said, Jasmine repeated, still holding his wrist in a control position that sent shoots of pain up his arm. Apologize. You can't, Tyler tried to pull away, but Jasmine shifted her grip slightly, and he yelped. This is assault. My father will. Your father will what? A new voice cut through the chaos. Alu Sachen. student body president, and daughter of Jefferson High's biggest donor, stepped into view. Her phone was out, recording everything. Tell everyone how his son sexually assaulted a female student, how he destroyed her property, how he used racial slurs, because I've been recording since you cornered her. Tyler, every word. More students appeared. Drawn by the commotion, phones came out like weapons, all pointed at the scene. Tyler Bennett, the untouchable golden boy, flat on his back with a girl half his size, controlling him with ease. Let him go. Jasmine, Alyssa said gently, security's already on the way. You've made your point. Jasmine looked down at Tyler, at the fear replacing arrogance in his eyes. 8 years of training, hundreds of competitions, countless hours perfecting her artal for this moment. She could do so much more, show him what a black belt really meant. But her father's voice echoed in her mind. True strength is knowing when not to use it. She released him and stepped back. Pulling her ruined shirt closed, Tyler scrambled to his feet, face red with humiliation and rage. This isn't over, he snarled. You think you can embarrass me? Do you know who I am? My father will have you expelled by lunch. You'll be Mr. Bennett. The voice cut through Tyler's threat like ice. Principal Martinez stood at the end of the hallway, flanked by 2 security guards. Her expression was carved from stone. My office. Now. Mr. Cole. Mr. Hayes. You too. But she attacked me, Tyler protested. I have 37 emails in the last 5 minutes. Principal Martinez said coldly, all containing videos of what just happened. Would you like to revise your statement? Tyler's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He looked around at the wall of phones still recording, at Jasmine standing tall despite her torn shirt, at Alyssa's satisfied smile. For the first time in his life, Tyler Bennett had no words. As security escorted him away, Jasmine felt a hand on her shoulder. Alyssa held out her designer cardigan. Here, she said softly. I've been waiting 3 years for someone to stand up to that jerk. I just wish I'd had the courage to do it myself. Jasmine accepted the cardigan gratefully, wrapping it around herself. Her hands were shaking now, adrenaline crashing through her system. I didn't want to fight, she said quietly. I just wanted to learn. And you will? Alyssa said firmly. Tyler's finished. His father might own half of Atlanta, but my mother owns the other half. And she has very strong opinions about boys who assault girls. She smiled. Plus, I think everyone just learned that Jasmine Washington is not someone to mess with. As if on cue, Jasmine's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. That was amazing. Sarah from your English class. Another. Thank you for standing up to him, Maria. And another. And another. By the time Principal Martinez returned to escort Jasmine to the office. Just for your statement. Miss Washington, you're not in any trouble. Her phone had received over 100 messages. Videos of the confrontation were already spreading through Jefferson High's social media networks, each one showing the same thing. Tyler Bennett, the untouchable bully, brought down in seconds by the quiet girl he'd tried to humiliate. But the real transformation was just beginning. Word traveled through Jefferson High like wildfire. By 4th period, everyone knew what had happened outside the chemistry lab. The videos spread from phone to phone, showing different angles of the same incredible moment. Jasmine Washington, the silent scholarship student, flipping Tyler Bennett like he weighed nothing. In the principal's office, Jasmine sat wrapped in Alyssa's cardigan, giving her statement to Principal Martinez and the school resource officer. Her mother had been called and was on her way. Leaving her shift at Grady Hospital, Jasmine's stomach churned at the thought their mom couldn't afford to miss work. Miss Washington, Principal Martinez said, reviewing the numerous videos on her laptop. I want to be very clear. You are not in trouble. What Mr. Bennett did constitutes assault and destruction of property. You defended yourself with remarkable restraint. She paused, studying Jasmine over her glasses. I have to ask, where did you learn to do that? My father teaches at the Riverside Community Center, Jasmine said quietly. I've been training since I was 9. Judo. Specifically, I have my 3rd degree black belt. The principal's eyebrows rose. 3rd degree? At 17? Yes. Ma'am, I compete nationally. Or I used to. Before we moved here, Jasmine looked down at her hands. I didn't want anyone to know. I just wanted to focus on academics. Well, I'd say that cat is out of the bag. Principal Martinez said wryly. Her expression softened. Jasmine, I owe you an apology. I've received numerous reports about Mr. Bennett's behavior over the years, but his father's influence, well, that's no excuse. I failed to protect you and other students. That changes today. A knock interrupted them. The secretary opened the door. Mrs. Washington is here. And there's a situation developing in the main lobby. Principal Martinez frowned. What kind of situation? Parents. Lots of them. They've seen the videos. The principal stood. Stay here. Jasmine, I'll handle this. But Jasmine's mother burst through the door before the principal could leave. Denise Washington was still in her scrubs. Her face a storm of emotions, fear, anger, relief. She pulled Jasmine into a fierce hug. Baby, are you hurt? When they called and said there'd been an incident, she pulled back. Examining her daughter. Did that boy put his hands on you? I'm okay. Mama, Jasmine said, her voice thick. I'm sorry. I know you said not to cause trouble, but he ripped my shirt and I couldn't. Shh. Her mother cupped her face. You defended yourself? That's what your daddy taught you to do. I'm proud of you. Principal Martinez cleared her throat. Mrs. Washington, I assure you the school is taking this very seriously. Mr. Bennett has been suspended pending expulsion hearings. The police are reviewing the videos for possible charges. Good, Denise said firmly, because if you think I'm going to let some privileged boy assault my daughter. Another knock. This time, the secretary looked panicked. Principal Martinez, you really need to see this. The lobby it's packed, and there are news vans outside. They moved as a group to the main office windows, overlooking the entrance. The lobby was indeed packed, parents in business suits and designer dresses, all talking animatedly. Outside, 3 news fans had set up, reporters already going live with Jefferson High as their backdrop. How did the media find out so fast? Principal Martinez muttered. Alyssa Chen appeared at Jasmine's elbow. Having somehow materialized in the office, that would be my mother, she said cheerfully. She owns Channel 5. Also, the videos are already trending on TikTok. Hashtag Jefferson Judo. Jasmine felt the blood drain from her face. Trending? Alyssa showed her phone. The original video had over 2 million views, and climbing, the comments were overwhelmingly supportive. She said, apologize. Tyler got humbled. That throw was clean. Protect black girls. I have to address this. Principal Martinez said, straightening hair jacket. Jasmine, you and your mother can wait in my office. Actually, Alyssa interrupted. My mom wants to know if Jasmine would be willing to do an interview. Just a short one. To control the narrative before Tyler's dad tries to spin this. Absolutely not, Denise said immediately. My daughter has been through enough. Mom, Jasmine said quietly. Maybe I should. Everyone turned to look at her. Jasmine stood straighter. Decision crystallizing. For 3 weeks, I've been silent while Tyler terrorized me. While he made racist comments, while he tried to make me feel like I didn't belong, her voice grew stronger. How many other kids are going through the same thing? Maybe if I speak up? Denise studied her daughter's face, then nodded slowly. Your choice. Baby, I'll support whatever you decide. 20 minutes later, Jasmine sat in the school's media center, a professional news crew setting up around her. She'd changed into a Jefferson High t-shirt from the school store, her mother and Principal Martinez flanking her protectively. Alyssa worked the phones nearby, fielding calls from what seemed like every media outlet in Atlanta. The reporter, a polished black woman named Monica James, gave Jasmine a reassuring smile. We'll keep this simple. Just tell your truth. Ready? Jasmine nodded, and the red light on the camera blinked on. I'm here with Jasmine Washington, the Jefferson High student whose self-defense video has captured national attention. Jasmine, can you tell us what happened? Jasmine looked directly at the camera, finding strength she didn't know she had. For 3 weeks, I've been harassed because I'm here on an academic scholarship, because I'm black, because Tyler Bennett thought I didn't belong at Jefferson High. She paused, steadying her voice. Today, he assaulted me. He ripped my shirt in the hallway while his friends filmed it. And when he tried to do worse, I defended myself. The video shows remarkable skill. Can you tell us about your training? My father started teaching me judo when I was 9. He said the world wouldn't always be kind to a black girl. But I could be prepared. I've trained 6 days a week for 8 years. I have my 3rd-degree black belt. Jasmine's chin lifted. But I've never used it outside the dojo until today. I never wanted to fight. I just wanted to learn. What would you say to other students facing bullying? Jasmine thought carefully. Document everything. Tell adults. Even when it feels like they're not listening. Find allies. I learned today that I wasn't as alone as I thought. She glanced at Alyssa, who gave her a thumbs up. And know that you deserve to take up space. You deserve to be safe. You deserve respect. Tyler Bennett's family is influential in Atlanta. Are you concerned about retaliation? I'm concerned about going to chemistry class without being harassed. Jasmine said simply, I'm concerned about other scholarship kids who might face the same treatment. I'm not concerned about standing up for myself anymore. The interview ended. But the impact was just beginning. Within an hour, Justice for Jasmine was trending nationally. The video of her throw had been analyzed by martial arts experts, all praising her technique and restraint. Duke University's judo team reached out about recruitment. Scholarship offers started pouring in. But the most important changes were happening at Jefferson High itself. By Friday morning, Jefferson High looked like a different school. Students who had previously scattered when Tyler Bennett walked down the halls now moved with newfound confidence. The viral video had done more than expose one bully. It had shattered the culture of fear that had gripped the school for years. Jasmine arrived early, as always, but this time she wasn't trying to avoid anyone. As she walked through the main entrance, something extraordinary happened. Students began clapping. First, just a few. Then dozens. Then what seemed like the entire hallway. Kids she'd never spoken to called out support. You're a hero, someone shouted. Thank you, called another. This is weird, Jasmine muttered to Alyssa, who had appointed herself as Jasmine's unofficial guide through her newfound fame. Get used to it. Alyssa grinned. You're not invisible anymore. Actually, I have something to show you. She led Jasmine to the main bulletin board, where a new poster hung prominently. Respect for All, Jefferson High's new anti-bullying initiative. Below it, dozens of students had already signed a pledge to report harassment and support victims. This is just the beginning. Alyssa explained. We've got a meeting with the school board next week. My mom's legal team is already drafting new policies, real ones, with real consequences. But not everyone was celebrating. In the parking lot, Richard Bennett stood beside his Bentley. Engaged in a heated phone conversation, Tyler sat in the passenger seat, shoulders hunched, his usual swagger completely deflated. When Richard spotted Jasmine, his face darkened. Miss Washington, he called out, striding over. His $1,000 suit couldn't hide the fury radiating from him. I hope you're satisfied. You've destroyed my son's future over a childish prank. Jasmine's mother appeared at her side instantly, but Jasmine spoke first. Your son destroyed his own future when he chose to assault me. Mr. Bennett, I just refused to be his victim. You broke his wrist, Richard snarled. He can't play football for the rest of the season. Syracuse is already reconsidering his scholarship. I didn't touch his wrist, Jasmine said calmly. He injured it when he fell incorrectly. If he'd learned to fall properly like we teach white belts in their first week, he wouldn't have been hurt. Maybe instead of football, he should try judo. He could use the discipline. Alyssa laughed, quickly covering it with a cough. Richard's face turned purple. This isn't over, he growled. I'll sue you for assault. I'll make sure you never end of the 6. Actually, Mr. Bennett, it is over. A smooth voice interrupted. A tall black man in an impeccable suit approached, extending his hand to Jasmine's mother. Mrs. Washington, I'm James Crawford from Crawford, Lewis, and Associates. We'd like to represent your daughter pro bono. Richard Bennett's face went from purple to pale. Crawford, Lewis, and Associates was one of Atlanta's most powerful law firms, known for taking down corporate giants. Additionally, Crawford continued, producing a tablet. We've been contacted by numerous Jefferson High families who want to share their own experiences with your son's bullying. 7 families so far. Would you like to see the evidence they've compiled? Richard grabbed Tyler's arm and retreated without another word. As their Bentley peeled out of the parking lot, Jasmine felt like she could breathe for the first time in weeks. Thank you, Denise told the lawyer, but we can't afford. You won't pay a cent, Crawford assured her. My daughter goes here. 6th grade. Tyler's crew has been terrorizing her about her weight. When I saw that video, I knew things were finally going to change. He handed Jasmine his card. Anyone gives you trouble, you call me immediately. The school day that followed was surreal. In AP Chemistry, Dr. Patel announced a new seating arrangement. And Jasmine, would you mind moving to the front? I understand you've been sitting in the back to avoid attention, but I'd like my best student where I can properly engage with her. Jasmine flushed as she gathered her things. She'd been acing every test, but she hadn't realized the teacher had noticed. Best student? Asked David Kim, who'd been Tyler's chemistry partner. No offense? But how? Tyler said. Mr. Bennett spent most of his time copying others' work. Dr. Patel said dryly, Miss Washington has the highest average I've seen in 15 years of teaching. Perhaps if you'd paid attention to her work ethic instead of Mr. Bennett's social status, your own grades might improve. At lunch, the cafeteria transformation was complete. The table where Tyler had held court sat empty, his former followers scattered among other groups. Jasmine found herself surrounded by students, eager to hear her story, ask about judo, or share their own experiences with bullying. My brother quit school because of Tyler, one sophomore said quietly. He made his life hell for being in theater instead of sports. Seeing you stand up to him, I sent my brother the video. He cried, said he wished he'd been brave like you. I wasn't brave, Jasmine protested. I was just done being afraid. Same thing, the girl insisted. Marcus Cole approached their table hesitantly. Tyler's former right-hand man looked smaller somehow. Shoulders curved inward like he was trying to disappear. Can I talk to you? He asked Jasmine. The table fell silent. Jasmine studied him for a moment, then nodded. They walked to a quieter corner. I wanted to apologize, Marcus said, unable to meet her eyes. Not just for yesterday, but for everything, the comments, the posts. Standing by while he swallowed hard. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. And I'm testifying at his expulsion hearing. About everything. Why? Jasmine asked simply. Marcus finally looked up. Because my little sister started here this year. She's on scholarship too. When I saw what Tyler did to you, all I could think about was someone doing that to her. His voice cracked. I've been a coward, but not anymore. Jasmine nodded slowly. Thank you for apologizing, and for being willing to tell the truth. As Marcus walked away, Alyssa appeared with her phone. You need to see this. Tyler's dad just posted a statement on Facebook. The post was a masterclass in deflection, painting Tyler as the real victim, claiming Jasmine had violently attacked him after he accidentally bumped into her. But the comments section was brutal. Parents, students, and alumni were sharing their own stories about Tyler's behavior, screenshots of his deleted Instagram posts mocking scholarship students, videos of previous incidents. It's backfiring spectacularly, Alyssa said with satisfaction. Oh, and Channel 5 wants to do a follow-up interview, this time with your dad too. They want to feature the community center where you train. Jasmine considered this. The attention was overwhelming. But if it could help the community center, I'll ask him, she decided. That afternoon, instead of heading straight home, Jasmine went to Riverside Community Center. The converted warehouse sat in a neighborhood that gentrification hadn't touched yet, its hand-painted sign proudly declaring, building champions in life, not just sport. Inside, the familiar sound of bodies hitting mats and controlled shouts filled the air. Her father, Samuel Washington, moved between pairs of practicing students, correcting form with patient precision. He was a compact man, built like a boxer. With the same quiet intensity Jasmine had inherited, Jas, one of the younger students, 8-year-old Tiana, ran over. We saw you on television. You're famous. Not famous, Jasmine corrected, ruffling the girl's hair. Just on the news. Same thing, Tiana insisted. Sensei Washington. Can Jasmine teach us the throw she did, please? Samuel looked at his daughter, eyebrow raised. The Osotogari? That's a bit advanced for your level, but I want to be ready, Tiana said fiercely, in case bullies come for me too. The room had gone quiet. All the students listening, Jasmine saw her father's jaw tighten. He'd seen the video. Of course, they'd talked for hours last night about what happened. Gather round, Samuel said finally. Miss Jasmine is going to help me demonstrate something important. The students formed a circle, ranging from 6 to 16 years old, all from the surrounding neighborhood. Most were here on scholarship. Samuel never turned away a kid who wanted to learn. Who can tell me the first rule of judo? Samuel asked. Maximum efficiency. Minimum effort, several students chorused. And the second? Mutual benefit and welfare. Samuel nodded. Jasmine, tell them about yesterday. Not the throw what happened before. Jasmine took a breath. For 3 weeks. Someone at my school bullied me, said cruel things, tried to make me feel small. I stayed quiet because I thought fighting back would make things worse. But then, prompted her father, but then he crossed a line. He put his hands on me, tore my clothes. Jasmine looked at the circle of attentive faces, and I realized something. Staying quiet hadn't protected me. It had just made him bolder. So you threw him? Tiana said excitedly. So I defended myself. Jasmine corrected. Just enough to stop the attack. No more. Samuel stepped into the center. The throws, the holds, the strikes, these are tools. But the real power is here. He tapped his temple, knowing when to act, how much force to use, when to walk away. He looked at each student. Jasmine could have hurt that boy badly. She has the skill. Instead, she used exactly what was needed. That's true strength. Now, he continued, who wants to practice break falls? Because that's what saved that fool's neck when he didn't know how to land properly. The students groaned but lined up eagerly. As Jasmine helped demonstrate proper falling technique, she noticed a news van pulling up outside. Through the window, she saw her mother arriving from work. Still in scrubs. Ready for round 2? Alyssa texted. She'd apparently appointed herself Jasmine's media manager. The interview setup was simple. The news crew wanted to capture the authentic atmosphere of the dojo. Monica James had returned, this time focusing on the community center's mission. Mr. Washington, she began, you've trained your daughter since she was 9. What made you start? Samuel's usual reserve softened slightly on camera. I grew up in this neighborhood. Saw too many kids get hurt because they couldn't defend themselves. Or worse, saw them become the ones doing the hurting because they had no discipline, no outlet. He gestured to the practicing students. Judo teaches control, respect. It channels strength into something positive. And when you heard about what happened to Jasmine, his jaw tightened again. I was proud she defended herself, angry that she was put in that position. But mostly, I was glad I'd prepared her. He looked directly at the camera. Every parent worries about their children facing cruelty. I gave mine the tools to stand tall. The video has inspired many parents to enroll their children in self-defense classes. Monica noted, what would you say to them? Don't just teach them to fight. Samuel said firmly, teach them when not to fight. Teach them to respect others, and demand respect in return. The physical skills are just one part. The mental discipline, that's what really protects them. The segment shifted to showing the kids practicing. Jasmine, working with younger students on basic movements. Tiana demonstrated her fierce determination, throwing a boy twice her size, who knew how to fall safely. Parents watching from the sides talked about how the center had changed their children's lives. We can barely afford groceries some weeks, one mother admitted, but Sensei Washington has never asked for a penny. He says building confident kids is payment enough. As the crew packed up, Jasmine overheard the producer on the phone. This is gold. Let's expand it feature on youth programs making a difference. Start with this place. By Saturday, the story had evolved beyond a viral video into something bigger. The hashtag number Jefferson Judo had morphed into number Stand Like Jasmine. Martial arts schools across the country reported surges in enrollment, particularly from young black girls. The Riverside Community Center's website crashed from donation offers, but at Jefferson High, the real revolution was just beginning. Monday morning brought the expulsion hearing. Jasmine sat in the conference room with her parents and Mr. Crawford. Facing the school board, Tyler was there with his father and a team of lawyers. His wrist in a brace he definitely didn't need. Jasmine knew the difference between a real injury and playing for sympathy. The board president, Dr. Patricia Hughes, called the hearing to order. We're here to review the recommendation for expulsion of Tyler Bennett following the incident on September 28th. Tyler's lead attorney, a sharp-faced woman in Prada, immediately stood. We object to characterizing this as an incident. This was a violent assault by Miss Washington against my client. Your client assaulted Miss Washington first, Crawford countered smoothly. We have 17 different video angles showing him ripping her clothing, which, I should note, constitutes sexual assault under Georgia law. It was a prank that went too far, the lawyer insisted. Teenage foolishness. Certainly not worth destroying a young man's future over a prank? Jasmine's mother's voice was ice. He tore my daughter's shirt open in a hallway, exposed her, humiliated her. What if someone did that to your daughter? The lawyer's jaw tightened, but she pressed on. Tyler has already suffered enough. His football season is over. Syracuse has withdrawn their interest. His reputation is exactly what it should be. Dr. Hughes interrupted. The videos speak for themselves, as do the numerous complaints we've now received about Mr. Bennett's behavior over the past 3 years. She shuffled papers. Complaints that were, I'm ashamed to say, not properly addressed due to various pressures. Richard Bennett leaned forward. If you expel my son, I'll pull every donation my family has ever made. The new athletic center, the scholarship fund. Mr. Bennett. Dr. Hughes said coldly, are you attempting to blackmail this board? The room fell silent. Richard's face flushed. I'm simply pointing out the consequences. The consequences of your son's actions are what we're discussing. Another board member, Mr. Chenalis's father, interjected. Not your financial threats. The hearing proceeded with testimony from multiple students. Marcus Cole's statement was particularly damaging, detailing years of systematic bullying. Other victims came forward, kids Tyler had tormented for their race, economic status, sexuality, or simply for refusing to worship him. When it was Jasmine's turn to speak, she kept it simple. I came to Jefferson High to learn. For 3 weeks, Tyler Bennett made that nearly impossible. He targeted me because I'm black, because I'm on scholarship, because I didn't treat him like he was special. She looked directly at Tyler. I defended myself when he physically assaulted me. I'd do it again, but I hope no other student has to make that choice. Tyler was called to speak. His lawyers had clearly coached him. He appeared contrite, apologizing for letting things get out of hand and promising to do better. But when asked directly if he denied tearing Jasmine's shirt, he hesitated. It wasn't meant to. I didn't think. You didn't think a black girl would fight back? Jasmine said quietly. The room went still. Tyler's mask slipped for just a moment, revealing the fury underneath. You think you're better than me? He snarled. Lawyers grabbing for him. Some ghetto trash with a few judo moves? My family built this school? You're nothing. That's enough. Dr. Hughes said, I think we've heard all we need to. Mr. Bennett. Miss Washington, please step outside while we deliberate. The hallway wait was tense. Tyler's lawyers huddled with his father, whispering furiously. Tyler himself sat slumped, the reality of his situation finally sinking in. His phone buzzed constantly. Jasmine could see the notifications. Syracuse had officially withdrawn their scholarship offer. His Instagram follower count was plummeting. The empire he'd built on fear and privilege was crumbling. When they were called back, Dr. Hughes's expression was grave. The board has voted unanimously. Tyler Bennett is expelled from Jefferson High, effective immediately. Furthermore, we're recommending criminal charges be filed for assault. Richard Bennett exploded. This is a witch hunt. We'll sue. You'll do nothing. Mr. Chen said calmly, unless you want the full investigation into your son's behavior made public. 3 years of incidents. Mr. Bennett. Some with evidence that could lead to much more serious charges. As security escorted the Bennetts out, Tyler turned back one last time. The look he gave Jasmine was pure venom. This isn't over, he mouthed, but it was, at least for him. The ripple effects continued for weeks. Jefferson High implemented comprehensive anti-bullying policies with real teeth. A mentorship program paired scholarship students with allies like Alyssa. The culture shifted from one of hierarchy to community. Jasmine found herself at the center of it all. Though she tried to deflect attention, she joined the student council, helped establish a self-defense club, and tutored struggling students in chemistry. Her inbox filled with messages from kids around the country, sharing their own stories of standing up to bullies. One message stood out. It was from a girl in Texas. Dear Jasmine, I'm 13, And kids at my school call me names because I'm Muslim. They pull my hijab, say I'm a terrorist. I told my parents I wanted to learn judo after seeing your video. They were scared it would make things worse. But yesterday, when a boy tried to yank my hijab off, I remembered what you said about deserving to take up space. I didn't throw him, I don't know how yet, but I stood tall and said, "Don't touch me," loud enough for everyone to hear. He backed off. Teachers finally listened. "Thank you for showing me, I don't have to be silent." Amira. Jasmine wiped tears as she read it. This was why speaking up mattered. The Riverside Community Center, flooded with donations, expanded its programs. Samuel hired assistant instructors, offering free classes to even more kids. The news feature on youth programs led to a documentary deal, with proceeds going back to the community. 3 months after the incident, Jasmine stood before a packed auditorium. She'd been invited to speak at a conference on bullying prevention. In the audience sat educators, parents, and students from across Georgia. "I never wanted to be famous for throwing someone," she began. "I wanted to be known for my grades, maybe for winning science fairs or getting into a good college. But sometimes life puts you in positions you didn't choose." She looked out at the sea of faces. Tyler Bennett had every advantage: money, status, privilege. I had discipline, training, and the knowledge that I deserved respect. When those two things met, privilege lost. The audience stirred. She continued, "But throwing Tyler wasn't the victory. The victory was everyone who spoke up afterward, who said enough, who refused to let fear control them anymore." She smiled. "My father taught me that judo means the gentle way, not because it's weak, but because it uses an attacker's force against them, Tyler's hatred, his need to dominate. I just redirected it back where it belonged. Every time someone stands up to a bully, they make space for others to stand too. Every voice that says no more makes the next voice stronger. That's the real power, not in the throw, but in the standing up." During the Q&A, a young boy raised his hand. What happened to Tyler? Jasmine had heard through social media he transferred to a private school in another state. Last I heard, he was in therapy, working on his anger issues. "I hope he learns from this. Everyone deserves a chance to grow, even after what he did to you," the boy pressed. "Especially then," Jasmine said. "Holding on to anger only hurts me. He's facing consequences for his actions. That's justice. But I'm focused on moving forward." After the conference, a woman approached, tall, athletic, wearing a USA Judo windbreaker. "Jasmine? I'm Coach Patricia Williams from the national team. We've been following your story. Your technique in that video was flawless, especially under pressure. Have you thought about competing again?" Jasmine's heart leaped. She'd given up competitive judo for academics. "But I could maybe do both," she ventured. Coach Williams smiled. "With your discipline, I don't doubt it. We have a development camp this summer. Full scholarship. Interested?" "Yes." Jasmine breathed. "Absolutely yes." As she left the auditorium, her phone buzzed with a text from Alyssa. "Check the Jefferson High Instagram. You'll love this." The post showed the old trophy case where Tyler's football achievements had been prominently displayed. In their place was a new addition: Jefferson High values, respect, courage, community. Below it, a photo from the anti-bullying assembly showing the entire student body holding signs that read, "We stand together." The caption read, "Real strength isn't about domination. It's about lifting others up. Thank you at Jasmine Washington for showing us the way. Stand like Yasmin, Jefferson United." The comments were flooded with heart emojis and stories of positive changes, former victims finding their voices, bullies reconsidering their behavior, teachers implementing new strategies, parents having hard conversations with their kids. Jasmine screenshotted it to save, not for vanity, but as a reminder that one moment of standing up could cascade into real change. Senior year flew by in a blur of achievements. Jasmine maintained her perfect GPA while training for national judo competitions. She won gold at the Junior Olympics. Each victory dedicated to everyone finding their strength. College acceptance letters poured in: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, full scholarships to everywhere she applied. She chose Stanford, close enough to home to help at the community center, with both a top chemistry program and an excellent judo team. The announcement made local news, another feel-good follow-up to the viral video story. Tyler's name occasionally surfaced in gossip, He'd been rejected from every college he'd applied to once they Googled his name. His father's business faced boycotts. The family eventually moved from Atlanta entirely. Jasmine felt no satisfaction in his downfall, just relief that he could no longer hurt others at Jefferson. On graduation day, Jasmine stood as valedictorian. Her speech wasn't about grades or achievements, but about transformation. 3 years ago, Jefferson High had a culture where bullies thrived and victims stayed silent. Today, we're a community that protects each other. That transformation didn't happen because of one viral video. It happened because we all decided to change. She looked at her classmates, Marcus Cole, heading to community college with plans to become a counselor. Alu Sachin, bound for Columbia Journalism School. Dozens of others who'd found their voices in the aftermath. When I first walked through Jefferson's doors, I just wanted to be invisible, to survive. I thought strength meant enduring in silence. She smiled. I was wrong. Real strength is standing up for yourself and others. It's refusing to let fear dictate your choices. It's knowing that your voice matters. Your space matters. You matter. So here's my challenge to all of us. Don't wait for someone else to be brave first. Don't assume someone else will speak up. Be the person who says, enough. Be the person who stands with others. Be the person who transforms your environment just by refusing to accept that's how things are. Because I promise you, the moment you stand up is the moment everything changes. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. In the crowd, Jasmine spotted her parents, tears streaming down their faces. Her father gave her a small bow, ultimate sign of respect in their dojo. After the ceremony, as families gathered for photos, a small girl tugged on Jasmine's graduation gown. She looked about 10, wearing a Jefferson Middle School t-shirt. Are you the judo girl? She asked shyly. Jasmine knelt down. I'm Jasmine. What's your name? Maria. I start high school next year, and I'm scared. Kids are mean about my accent. Say I don't belong. Jasmine's heart ached. She pulled out her phone, showing Maria a photo from the community center. See this place? We have classes every Saturday. Free. Would you like to learn? Maria's eyes widened. Really? Really? But more important than learning to throw people, Jasmine smiled. You'll learn that you absolutely belong. Anywhere you choose to be. Never let anyone tell you different. As Maria ran back to her parents excitedly, Alyssa appeared with her camera. Still changing lives. I see. Just paying it forward. Jasmine said. Well, get ready to pay forward a lot more. That documentary about your story, it just got picked up by Netflix. They want to follow up with you at Stanford. Jasmine groaned. Will I ever not be the judo girl? Nope. Alusa grinned. But think about all the kids who'll see it. All the Marias and Amiras and Tianas who'll learn they can stand up too. Within minutes, it had thousands of likes and hundreds of comments from students around the world sharing their own stories of standing up, speaking out, and refusing to be silent. Jasmine Washington had thrown Tyler Bennett for 90 seconds. But the ripples from that moment would last a lifetime, and somewhere in Atlanta, at a converted warehouse in a neighborhood that gentrification hadn't touched, another group of kids was learning to fall safely, stand proudly, and understand that true power came not from dominating others, but from lifting them up. The revolution wasn't televised. It was shared, liked, retweeted, and most importantly lived out in hallways and classrooms across the country. One brave stand at a time. Sometimes the quietest students really do hide the deadliest skills, but Jasmine Washington's deadliest skill was never the throw. It was showing others they had power too. And that changed everything.